Hello everyone, welcome to BYD Classes, and this is the third class of Environment and Ecology. So let's begin. First is waste management, and under this the extended producer responsibility on plastic packaging. An extended producer responsibility was introduced in 2012 to manage electronic waste, and Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016 introduced extended producer responsibility to manage the plastics. And extended producer responsibility guidelines given legal force through Plastic Waste Management Amendment Rules 2021. And this is stated by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Around 2.26 million tons of plastic packaging have been covered under extended producer responsibility in the year 2022-23. Number of producers, importers and brand owners registered has been increased. So keep this in mind. And it is a policy approach where producers are given the responsibility, financial or physical, for environmentally sound treatment or disposal of post-consumer products. And the facts about extended producer responsibility on plastic waste in India: around 3.4 million tons of plastic waste generated annually, and per capita plastic waste generation has been doubled since 2017. Only 30% of plastic waste is recycled. Remaining are goes to the landfills as well as the marine pollution and soil pollution. So keep this in mind. And guidelines of benefits of extended producer responsibility: to follow the circular economy and polluters pay principles by holding producer accountable for entire life cycle of product, reduce burden on government agencies, and improve the condition of health and sanitation of the people. And the guidelines for extended producer responsibility in Plastic Waste Management Amendment Rules 2021 recently. Both pre-consumer and post-consumer plastic packaging waste, and classification of plastics into 4 categories such as rigid plastic packaging, flexible plastic packaging, multi-layered plastic packaging, and plastic sheets. An establishment of centralized online portal by Central Pollution Control Board for tracking and monitoring the obligations of plastic waste. And it is a compulsory registration of producers, importers and brand owners and plastic waste producers on the portal. And targets and obligations: the extended producer responsibility target to increase 70% in 2022-23 and 100% for 2023 around between 2 years. Remember this. And setting up a market mechanism for plastic waste management through introduction of extended producer responsibility certificates. And environmental compensation shall be levied with respect to non-fulfillment of targets by producers, importers and brand owners. So what are the potential issues or challenges to implementation of extended producer responsibility? Lack of accurate data, non-compliance from stakeholders, difficulties in inclusion of informal sectors, and segregation at resources of the because of lack of awareness among the consumers. So keep this in mind. And inadequate infrastructure for waste disposal, collection, processing and recycling facilities and high penal condition may lead to a large number of cases. What are the solutions? To improve the extended producer responsibility and reduce the plastic waste management or plastic waste, brand owners should be encouraged to globally decrease the number of plastics they introduce in market by adopting alternatives such as paper, glass, metals and other things. Research and development for lower cost recycling technologies, adopting practices from successful public partnerships and awareness creation among the society to bring behavioral change. So remember this. And features of plastic waste management amendment rules 2021, that several single use plastic items were identified whose manufacture, import, stocking, distribution, sale and use was prohibited with effect from 1st July 2022. And the categories of single use plastics items which are banned, such as plastic sticks, that is which are used in earbuds, balloons, flags and cutlery items like plates, cups, forks, spoons and wrapping or packing films such as box, cigarette, etc. or cigarette packaging, etc. and other items like plastic or polyvinyl chloride banners less than 100 micron thermocol for decoration. Thickness of the plastic carry bags increased from 50 microns to 75 microns with effect from 30 September 2021, and to increase 120 micron, and this will be or this had been enforced from 31st December 2022, and complete ban on plastic use or single use plastic for storing, packaging, selling gutkha or tobacco and pan masala. Okay, and next is the solid waste management. Solid waste management, unwarranted or useless solid materials generated from human activities in residential, industrial or commercial areas. And solid waste generated in the country is around 1.6 lakh tons per day. Collection efficiency of waste is 95.4%, 50% waste is treated and 18.4% is landfill. So this is very harmful. And harmful effects of improper treatment of solid waste. And landfill fires emit toxic gases such as formaldehyde, hydrogen cyanide, hydrogen sulfide, nitrogen oxide, and source of persistent organic pollutants has been increasing due to the landfills and increase the air pollution or groundwater pollution. Increase in the risk of severe health implications such as birth defects, low birth weight and in adjoining areas. And schemes related to solid waste management such as Swachh Bharat Mission Urban to make all cities garbage free by 2026, effective implementation of segregation of waste at source under solid waste management rules to 2016. So remember this. Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs signed a memorandum of understanding with Engineers India Limited to develop waste to energy and biomethane methanation projects in cities with a population of more than 1 million, and garbage free star rating protocol to assess the city's municipal solid waste management by third party verification, adopting zero landfill model based on principles of circular economy. So this is very crucial to improve the landfill condition or to reduce the landfill conditions, and it will be replaced by the principle of circular economy through reducing of the landfill model, because it is very harmful to create air pollution as well as soil pollution. And one-stop centers called reduce, recycle and reuse set up to serve as one-stop solutions. What are the challenges for solid waste management? Lack of funding with local bodies, poor implementation through the poor implementation through the center as well as state government, or lack of coordination between the administration as well as the government and public affairs. Segregation is not done at a source. Informal and unorganized waste collection and segregation facilities. Recycling of the waste is not cost efficient for the companies, and lack of trained manpower to improve the condition of landfill process. Issues with the handling legacy waste. And what is the way forward to improve the condition of solid waste management? Adoption of remedial technologies like incineration, gasification and pyrolysis. So remember these terms: incineration, gasification and pyrolysis. Raising awareness about segregation at source through public companies, and incentivizing recycling of solid waste by private companies. Formalization of waste collection and segregation industry, and scientific management of legacy waste through methods like scientific capping, biomining, extraction of recyclables and other revenue generating fractions from waste materials added by bioremediation. So keep this in mind, that is bioremediation to reduce the high nutrients which are included in the soil. Next is waste to wealth. Waste to wealth means to create financial resources from the waste. What is waste to wealth technique? To composting biodegradable and organic waste to yield biofertilizers, and biomethanation is what? The anaerobic fermentation of biodegradable matter to yield biogas, fertilizers, etc. Thermal or waste to energy processing. Use technologies like incineration, gasification and pyrolysis for production of electricity and heat or light from municipal solid waste, and processing for reuse. Under this, using plastic waste in road construction, recycling, construction and demolition waste, extraction of high value metals from e-waste, and under this the processing of for reuse such as the asphalt using in the road construction and local road blocks, etc. And what is the potential in India? India has the potential to generate 3 gigawatt of electricity from waste by 2050. So this is a factual information. Remember this. What is the significance of waste to wealth? Economic benefits from energy generation and extraction of valuable resources, to improve the biogas as well as the energy conservation and protect environment from toxic waste, recycle materials and promote circular economy, and sustainably manage high generation of waste, especially from urban areas, and encourage entrepreneurship and job creation. So remember these points. And what are the government policies? The waste to wealth mission under PMSTIAC, that is Prime Minister uh, solid treatment, incineration, accreditation and incineration, uh, accreditation and conservation of the solid waste to identify, develop and deploy technologies to treat waste to generate energy, recycle materials and extract resources of values. And Swachh Sarthi Fellowship Sudhara Community Engagement Project on Urban Waste Management and Waste to Wealth portal, which you can send your waste through the online system, and Biomedical Waste Treatment Innovation Challenge and promotion under policies and guidelines for waste management like Solid Waste Management Rules 2016 and Plastic Waste Management Rules 2022 and Construction and Demolition Waste Management Rules 2016. So remember this, under the green growth segment of Union Budget 2022-23, 500 new waste to wealth plants will be established under the Govardhan scheme, galvanizing under the Govardhan, that is galvanizing the or to improve the biogas, incineration and conservation of the energy, mandating use of plastic waste in road construction, okay, such as use of asphalt in the local area road construction. What are the constraints to improve the waste to wealth generation? Like informal and inefficient collection, segregation and processing infrastructure, a limited financial capacity of local bodies for processing, and lack of reliable data of waste inventory, costly and complex technologies, a limited private participation, lack of public awareness on waste categories and behavioral issues, and environmental concerns related to improper waste handling and processing. What are the way forward? To ensure segregation at source and 100% waste collection through awareness generation and institutional support in the waste processing rules, to encourage private sector participants, creation of forward and backward infrastructure, for waste processing activity, financially strengthening local bodies, training waste collectors and processors, and invest in development of affordable environment friendly technologies. Okay, so these are the some solutions to generate of waste to wealth. And what is e-waste in India? E-waste, that discarded and end of life electronics products ranging from computers, equipment used in the information and communication technology, home appliances, audio and video products and all of their peripherals. So simply, that is what is electronic waste, that generation of the electronic products into waste, such as mobile, laptop, computers and any communication technology and information products which are converted into waste. So remember this. What is the significance of e-waste management? And first we'll discuss the current situation of electronic waste. Only 22.7% of total e-waste generated in 2019-20 in India was collected, dismantled, and recycled or disposed of. And India is the world's third largest electronic waste generator after China and USA as per the Global E-Waste Monitor 2020, and computers contributed towards 70% and other devices contributes the electronic waste around 30%. So remember this. And over 90% of the electronic waste management is done by informal workers or informal sector workers instead of 10% the formal sector workers. What are the significance of electronic waste management? To promote circular economy based on the recycling precious and semi-precious materials such as lithium-ion batteries are extracted from e-waste. Unscientific extraction of e-waste can be hazardous to environment with impact on soil through leaching of hazardous contents from landfills and increase the or decrease this soil pollution and air pollution as well, and it in water due to contamination of rivers, wells and other waste sources, in air due to emission of gases and burning of electronic waste. And electronic waste contains several other potentially toxic and hazardous substances such as heavy metals, plastics, glass, which are impact heavily on the human health. That the toxic or hazardous substances found in electronic waste such as lead, cadmium, mercury, beryllium, hexavalent chromium. So remember this. And what are the constraints? What are the challenges or issues related to electronic waste management, such as poor tracking and monitoring of quantum of e-waste being produced, involvement of informal sector and their lack of knowledge about safe handling and extraction processes, high waste handling, extraction and procurement costs needed for safety equipment, extraction technologies, rapidly growing waste, Internet of Things, gadgets, and artificial intelligence or machine learning programs are expected to generate e-waste at a faster rate. A limited number of dismantlers and recyclers, and inadequate recycling capacity, and poor segregation and collection of waste. So these are the some issues. What are the solution? That formalize collection of e-waste by designated organizations, producers, and keep over them fine. Okay, and create awareness on the environment benefits of reuse and recycling among consumers, and train informal sector for safe and environmentally sound handling and extraction. Effectively monitor e-waste generation, invest in alternative cost-effective technology for e-waste management. And e-waste management amendment rules is what? Recently, Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change has notified e-waste management rules 2023 to exercise the power by Environment Protection Act. What are the provisions of e-waste management rules? Two e-waste management rules adds two substances, two exemptions listed in Schedule 2nd of e-waste management rules 2022, such as cadmium and lead in solar panels or cells, solar photovoltaic panels or cells or modules, and second is lead in medical devices with the exception of all implanted and infected products. and every producer shall provide the detailed information on the constituents of the equipment if they have generated the electronic waste. So remember this. And e-waste management rules 2022. Under this rule replaces e-waste management rules 2016 to rules 2022. Launched a new extended producer responsibility regime for electronic waste recycling, and schedule first was expanded. Applicability to every manufacturer, producer, refurbisher, dismantler and recycler, and certain exceptions: waste, batteries, packaging, plastics, micro enterprise, radioactive wastes. So keep this in mind. And cycling target quantity of e-waste to be recycled through registered recycler by the producer in fulfillment of extended producer responsibility, and target may be 2 years and start from 60% for the year 2023 to 2024-25. And what are the new features? The management of solar photovoltaic modules or panel cells, and generation and transaction of EPR certificate, and environment compensation and verification and audit of the EPR. So these are three factors you can remember. And another news which are related to solar, which are related to waste management or waste treatment. So solar waste treatment under e-waste management rules 2022, the Union Ministry of Renewable Energy and Ministry of Power has shared details regarding solar waste related provisions under e-waste management rules 2022, which were notified by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And solar waste is electronic waste generated by discarded solar panels. An International Renewable Energy Agency that estimated photovoltaic waste till touch 78 million tons by 2050, with India expected to be one of the top 5 photovoltaic waste creators. And there are concerns associated with solar waste because of high cost gap between recycling and discarding. Panels contain lead, cadmium and other toxic materials that are carcinogenic and harmful. As per these rules, every manufacturer and producer of solar photovoltaic modules or panels or cells shall ensure registration on portal, store solar photovoltaic module up to the year 2034-35, and ensure that processing of waste other than solar photovoltaic modules or panels or cells shall be done as per the applicable rules or guidelines for the time being in force. So remember this. And the operating procedures and guidelines laid down by the Central Pollution Control Board. So these are the some issues and challenges and their solutions for the solid waste management or electronic waste management. And next is the fly ash utilization. What is fly ash? Particulate material produced from the combustion of coal in thermal power plants. And fly ash is generated from the thermal power plant, which are extraction from the nuclear power plant or thermal power plant, and fly ash is created when the mineral impurities in the coal fuse together as they come out of the combustion chamber, then cool down and harden. And what is the composition of fly ash? You can remember this: silica, aluminum, iron, calcium, and oxygen. And arsenic and lead can be found at trace levels. And current situation: fly ash utilization in India has increased from nearly 10% in 1996, currently 92%, and still over 17 million tons out of the 222 million tons fly ash generated still remain unutilized. So remember this. A need for fly ash utilization to occupies a lot of land space. Indian coal has much more ash content than other countries, and tackle adverse impacts such as ash ponds may leach heavy metal traces into groundwater, increases concentration of particulate matter, reduces the rate of photosynthesis and transpiration in the plants, and adversely impacts human health due to respiratory illness. What is the potential uses of fly ash? To improve the road construction or small road construction as well as building material construction, and cost effective substitute for Portland cement, durable as it increases the life of concrete roads and structures, can be utilized for carbon sequestration, has potential in wastewater treatment owing to its chemical composition, and effective for the removal of mercury. So keep this in mind. And what are the initiatives to utilization of fly ash in India? In 2019, it was made it a saleable commodity. Saleable commodity means that fly ash can be sold in the market to used in the construction of the roads, building in form of the cement, Portland cement. To improve the condition of roads and buildings, an Ash Track mobile app has been launched by the Ministry of Power. National Green Tribunal directed the constitution of the Fly Ash Management and Utilization Mission, and it is rationalizing the GST of fly ash, bricks and blocks at concessional GST rate at 5%. So GST rate is 5%, and at the state level fly ash policy 2016, Rajasthan government decided that power plants will give fly ash to National Highway Authority of India free of cost for road construction or highways construction. What are the challenges to utilization of fly ash? Lack of awareness among the society, lack of private public partnership in the utilization of the fly ash. Strength gain occurs at a slow pace, and seasonal limitations as low temperatures lengthen setting times because fly ash has a low gypsum materials and color variability, as it is more difficult to control the color of concrete containing fly ash. Secondary environmental pollution, as it may cause leaching of some elements into water. And way forward, what are the solution? The utilization of fly ash should be made mandatory for backfilling of mines and road construction as well as building construction. And railway track may be extended from the coal yard of TPP to the ash dike. Transport subsidy may be contemplated to encourage fly ash utilization, and incentives to private sector and entrepreneurship for setting up for fly ash bricks and tiles manufacturing units under the public-private partnership model. And export potential of fly ash should be explored and can be invented in the new area to utilization of fly ash. So keep this in mind. Next is the new notification on fly ash utilization. The Ministry of Environment released notification on fly ash utilization under the power conferred on the central government under Environment Protection Act 1986. And what is the amendment on the fly ash utilization management? Wider scope extends the compliance of fly ash utilization targets to new thermal power plants and time limit. New thermal power plants have a time period of 4 years to achieve 100% fly ash utilization and legacy ash utilization that to be fully utilized within a period of 10 years. And reclamation, allowed reclamation activity in solar and wind power plants. Time limit for reclamation of certification to increase the time period to 3 years, earlier only 1 year. So amendment here from 1 year to 3 years. Clarifying definition of legacy as ponds or dikes other than currently operational ones shall be treated as legacy ash, and guidelines for ash ponds. Existing thermal power plants to set up a temporary ash pond of the size 0.1 hectare per megawatt. So remember this. And competent authority for certification is Central Pollution Control Board along with Central Electricity Board. Ban on establishing or designating any new operational ash ponds and pricing of ash ponds that rate not more than price specified by the Central Public Work Departments or CPWD. So remember this. Next is the nature-based solutions. That State of Finance for Nature 2022 report by the UNEP and the BMZ Finance Economics of Land Degradation Initiative released that nature-based solutions are still significantly underfinanced, and benefits of nature-based solutions like in the good for biodiversity, good for disaster risk reduction, good for health of human as well as animal, and important for job and business, vital for the climate. A nature-based solution is aims to protect, sustainably manage and restore natural or modified ecosystems to meet critical societal needs today while building long-term environmental and economic resilience. Nature-based solution involves the protection, restoration and or management of a wide range of natural and semi-natural ecosystems on land and in the sea. And what are the challenges associated with the nature-based solutions? Lack of investment. Invest is needed by 2025 for full or finance flows to nature-based solution in 2022 were less than half of the investment in NBS needed by 2025, and limited private participation, that is the under the public-private partnership, which was very low, around 17%, and prevalence of nature negative finance in government expenditure in former environmentally harmful subsidies to fisheries, agriculture, as well as fossil fuels. And many infringe upon rights of indigenous peoples and local communities, raising concerns around the security of land tenure, rights, access, etc., uncertainties about their effectiveness under the changing climate conditions. And benefits can be misinterpreted and misused by decision makers and stakeholders. For example, a tree planting project using just one non-native species would result in poor soil biodiversity, ultimately making it more costly or impossible to sustain a diverse forest in the future. Difficulties in monitoring and Governance. What are the global standards for the nature-based solutions? In economic viability and based on inclusive, transparent and empowering governance processes and effectively address societal challenges, result in a net gain to biodiversity and ecosystem integrity and sustainable and mainstreamed within an appropriate jurisdiction context. So remember this. And what are the solutions to utilization of nature-based solutions effectively? So mainstream nature-based solution within national governance, climate action and climate policy related instruments and international efforts. Robust monitoring and evaluation of nature-based solutions, and governments can spur investment by reorienting their policies, subsidies and public investment and enhancing regional and international cooperation and promote the positive impacts that nature-based solution can deliver to vulnerable groups such as women, indigenous people, elderly, youth, children, etc. and empower locally led actions on nature-based solutions that is built on respect for the rights of indigenous peoples and local communities. And benefits of, and next is the cloud forest. What is cloud forest? And this is the factual information for the prelims 2024. A recent report suggested cloud forest bonds as per the report as a part of the nature-based solutions and their financing to protect cloud forest. And what are cloud forests? That mountain tropical forests generally found at the river head streams and mostly covered with clouds serve as the storage of clean water for communities, industries and hydropower plants. A majority of cloud forests, that is 90%, are found in 25 developing countries in tropical regions, which bear the disproportionate impact of climate change. And what are the initiatives for the cloud forest? Cloud Forest 25 initiative is an investment initiative to bring countries, their creditors and multilateral organizations together to accelerate and consolidate the progress and scale such investment products. And what are the benefits of cloud forest? Resource monetization, prospecting true potential of ecosystem services, stepping towards green economy, combating climate change, alternate financing mechanism for low income countries, and participation and community capacity building. So remember this. And next is the environmental, social and governance. What is this? A form of sustainable investing that measures the impact of a company's ethical contribution to its stakeholders. Environment sustainable group investing is sometimes referred to as sustainable investing, responsible investing, impact investing, or socially responsibility investing. So keep this in mind. What is the environment, social, and governance criteria? Under environmental, that is energy use, carbon footprint, etc. And under social criteria, that is employee welfare, gender equality, and water efficiency and effectiveness in the inequality or equity resources. And governance, transparent accounting, investor relationship, and the fair welfare state or fair welfare of the society. What are the significance of environment, social and governance? So So financial sector to risk posed by the climate change due to building resilience under physical risks, economic costs and financial losses from floods, heat waves, etc. like supply disruption in foods sector, transition risks that arising from process of adjustments, a low carbon economy like unexpected retirement of local fired power plants, and under liability risks arising from people or business seeking compensation for losses suffered from physical and transition risks, and addressing negative externalities such as companies' greenhouse gas emissions, effects on labor markets, and consequences for health and safety, and improved operations, better stock performance, and lowered cost of capital to companies. Customer attitudes are changing, with investors demanding more transparency and accountability from companies, and enabling investors to make better informed decisions. And what are the constraints that inadequate board level engagement in companies and lack of transparency and lack of standard rules for reporting on environmental, social, and governance parameters, and shortage of skilled ESG professionals, concerns around ESG waste washing, inadequate awareness around sustainable investment, and high cost of integrating ESG practices, and insufficient availability of data, processes, and methodologies. So remember these points. What are the initiatives launched by the government? In 2021, SEBI issued new sustainability reporting requirements under Business Responsibility and Sustainability Report, and BRSR aims to establish links between financial results of a business with its ESG performance, and it is mandatory for top 1000 listed entities from 2022 to 2023, and Sustainable Finance Group was set up under the RBI to coordinate with other national and international agencies on issues relating to climate change. And RBI joined the Network for Greening of Financial Systems Task Force on Sustainable Finance set up by the Department of Economic Affairs under Ministry of Finance. And SEBI has proposed the concept of blue bonds. Under blue bonds, debt instrument issued to support investments in healthy oceans and blue economy. So simply, blue bond is used for the ocean economy or blue economies. And what are the solutions? Developing standard reporting framework for ESG, develop tools for ESG data management, recording evidence of ESG behavior for investors, and improve transparency in corporate structures, and create a pool of skilled ESG professionals. So remember this. Next is framework on ESG, environmental, social, and governance. SEBI came up with new decisions on environmental, social, and governance funds. A decision of the SEBI to facilitate balanced approach to environmental, social, and governance under the regulatory framework for ESG disclosures, ratings, and investing. An amendment of SEBI to regulations 2015 and SEBI regulations 1996. And what are the key decisions under the ESG? So ESG disclosures, introduction of BRSR 4 to enhance disclosures reliability, and BRSR 4 will contain a limited set of key performance indicators in which entities will be required to obtain reasonable assurance. And on ESG ratings, there is ESG rating providers to consider India or emerging market parameters in ESG ratings, and core ESG rating from ESG rating providers a separate category of ESG rating based on the assured parameters under the BRSR core and on ESG investing. Under ESG investing, there is a addressed risk of mis-selling, greenwashing, etc. It mandates at least 65% of assets under management in listed entities by ESG schemes where assurance on BRSR core is undertaken, and third-party assurance and certification by board of asset management companies on compliance with ESG schemes objectives. So these are the key decision points of the environment, social and governance initiatives. And next is sustainable sand mining in India. Recently, Rajasthan government has promoted manufacturing sand as easy alternative to river sand to control excessive sand mining. Sand is produced by crushing rocks and quarrying stones to a stipulated size of 150 microns. It is different from the river sand. So this is a mine sand or mining of sand. The benefits of mining of sand in comparison to natural sand: more cost effective, higher concrete strength, zero silt content. So these are the property of mining of sand or M sand. What are the report? Says unsustainable extraction of sand under Sand and Sustainability Report 2022. India is the second most exploited natural resource in the world after sand. Sand is second most exploited natural resources in the world after water. And use of sand resources has tripled in the last 2 decades to reach an estimated 40 to 50 billion metric tons per year. And current extraction exceeds the replenishment of rates of naturally occurred sand. Sand mining activity referring to the process of actual removal of sand from the foreshore, including rivers, streams, and lakes. River sand is preferred for the construction because it requires less processing and has better quality than other sources. And sand mining governance in India. Sand is a minor mineral defined under the Mines and Mineral Amendment Act 1950, Development and Regulation Act 1957, which are amended recently. The Act empowers state governments to frame rules to prevent illegal mining, transportation and storage of minerals, both major mineral and minor minerals, and for purposes connected therewith. And Ministry of for Environment and Forest and Climate Change formulated the Sustainable Sand Management Guidelines 2016, which focuses on the management of sand mining in the country. And Sand Mining Framework 2018 prepared by Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Mines envisages alternative sources of sand in form of sand mining from crushed rock finds. And in 2020, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change released Enforcement and Monitoring Guidelines for Sand Mining 2020 to check illegal sand mining in the country. And Enforcement and Monitoring Guidelines for Sand Mining 2020. So pause the video and remember or read 1 or 2 times. And impacts of unsustainable extraction and use of sand mining. So environmental impact: coastal and river erosion and salinization of coastal aquifers and groundwater reserves. Threats to freshwater and marine fisheries and biodiversity, air pollution and dug fog, lowering of groundwater and river water level table. And socioeconomic impacts: health and safety risk to minors and communities, and water scarcity, soil infertility, and increased food insecurity, reduced resilience to sea level rise and extreme weather events such as storm surges, increased criminal activities associated with illegal sand mining, contribution to climate change, extraction of marine sand releases greenhouse gas trapped in sediments, process of transporting sand and producing concrete release CO2, and reduced carbon sink due to destruction of marine plants. So keep this in mind. And what are the significance of sand of illegal and sustainable mining? Increase in the state revenue in the form of royalty, curbing organized criminal activities associated with the illegal mining, enhance compliance with environmental regulations, and address growth in demand in the construction sector with increase in infrastructure development. And legal mining will lead to the consumers getting the sand at the reasonable prices. So remember this. What are the solutions to reduce the sand mining illegally? Use of technologies like geofencing and GPS enabled transportation etc. to check illegal mining, integration of transportation of sand with the online sale mechanism, and regular audits of sand reserves women self-help groups, including the local people in the under the Gram Sabha or Gram Panchayat can be employed to check illegal mining. Restoration of existing sand by promoting nature-based solutions, and create incentives for public and private investment for use of alternative options for natural sand. What is the Great Nicobar Island Mega Multi-Development Projects? Recently, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has granted environmental clearance for diversion of 130.75 square kilometer of forest in Great Nicobar Island for mega 72,000 crore multi-development projects. And Niti Aayog has come up with a plan for the holistic development of Great Nicobar Islands. The implementation agency is Andaman and Nicobar Islands Integrated Development Corporation, and mega project includes International Container Transshipment Terminal, a military civil dual use airport, a solar power plant, and an integral township. And what are the significance of ICTP project? Strategic location, proximity to the international trade route 40 nautical miles from Malacca Strait with existing transshipment terminals like Singapore, Klang, etc. Availability of natural water depth of more than 20 meters, and economic efficiencies to reduce logistics inefficiencies and push to allied businesses such as ship supplies, and forex savings, foreign direct investment, increased economic activity at the other Indian ports, reducing risk to the country's export competitiveness, and a large hub for Asia, Africa, Asia, US or Europe container traffic trade. Development of the region with the development of ICTP at Great Nicobar to create around 1700 to 400 jobs. And what are the concerns related to the projects? That environmental and ecological concerns such as endangered species, coral reefs, mangroves, and flora and fauna under the marine surface areas. Ecologically rich island was declared a biosphere reserve in 1989 and included in UNESCO's Man and Biosphere programs in 2013. And this is the Great Nicobar Development Plan. You can pause the video and look at the map. So this is the Nicobar, Great Nicobar Island, and here these are the development projects available here. Okay, and concerns. Second is it could disturb livelihood and culture of tribals. Around 90% area of the island is designated as a tribal reserve under the Andaman and Nicobar Protection of Aboriginal Tribes Regulation 1956, and vulnerability to disasters like earthquake, land subsidence, tsunami, etc. region comes under the high risk seismic zone 5 category. Environmental pollution from the terminal project, coastal surface runoff, ballast from the ships. Financial viability concerns, as all the construction material will have to be shipped to these remote islands. And what are the clearance issues? National Green Tribunal has ordered a stay on the ICTT and formed a committee to re-examine the environmental clearance granted. Local tribal council withdraw NOC no objection certificate for the project as it fears that their rights will be violated. The National Commission for Scheduled Tribes alleged discrepancies in forest clearance under the Forest Rights Act 2006 on ground that project will affect the rights of local tribes people and that NCST was not consulted. And what are the steps taken to address concerns? Successfully translocated a coral reef from Gulf of Mannar to Gulf of Kutch. Earlier, yes, conservation plan for the leatherback turtle is also being put in place. Project site is outside the eco-sensitive zones of Campbell Bay and Galathea National Park, which are located in Great Nicobar. So here the Campbell Bay and the Galathea National Park. So you can remember what are the solutions to improve the Great Nicobar Islands and less affected areas from this project. A biodiversity conservation plan and translocation of affected coral reefs from near the Great Nicobar to the or south or east or north or west. An expert appraisal committee also imposed specific conditions for wildlife conservation for leatherback sea turtles, Nicobar megapods, saltwater crocodiles, and several other species as well as mangrove restoration, and addressing concerns of tribals by providing adequate compensation for the loss of their habitat and ensuring their unique identity, culture and heritage is protected. Establishment of disaster resilient infrastructure, early warning systems and contingency plan. So these are the some solutions. Next is the renewable energy and alternative energy resources. What is renewable energy targets? That 50% of energy requirements will be met from renewable energy by 2030 under Panchamitra, and 500 gigawatt of non-fossil energy capacity to install by 2030. This is also a target of Panchamitra, and 227 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity to be installed by the year 2022. On current situation of the renewable energy, India stands at 4th position in the world in terms of installed renewable energy capacity, 4th in solar and 4th in wind energy capacity. As per the Ministry of Power, energy from renewable energy sources including hydro makes 41.4% of total installed capacity according to April 2023. And what are the constraints regarding renewable energy? Solar energy, it is grid connected and off grid. unsustainably low tariffs dispenses on impacts for components. So you can remember the components, various components parts which are affected by this renewable energy creation: wind energy, onshore and offshore, and small hydro energy, waste to energy, bioenergy, and other ocean like hydrogen energy or geothermal energy. So pause the video and read this. Okay, next is the policies related to renewable energy. National Solar Mission, PM Kusum, Atal Jyoti Yojana, grid connected solar rooftops scheme, and solar parks and ultra mega solar power projects, Surya Mitra skill development program, national offshore wind energy policy, small hydro power program on energy from urban, industrial and agricultural waste residues, a scheme to support promotion of biomass based cogeneration, sugar mills and other industries in the country, national biogas and organic manure program. What are the solutions to improve the renewable energy? Higher allocation for clean energy from governments via subsidies and other measures. Revise tariff structures to make renewable energy profitable and promote private investment, and explore hybrid renewable energy systems to tackle fluctuations. Conduct awareness generation program among the various social groups as well as various states in India. Appropriate training and skills development among Indian workforces, and push for technology transfers from developed nations for elements such as battery and storage systems under the international frameworks, and promote innovation and entrepreneurship in new and upcoming renewable technologies, and to create best robust infrastructure for the installation of energy capacity or solar panels, and reduce the import substitution from China of the solar energy or solar panel. Next is solar energy. Targets of solar energy. The National Solar Mission, total installed capacity 100 gigawatt by 2022, including 60 gigawatt of utility scale and 40 gigawatt of rooftop solar capacity, and 300 gigawatt by 2030. And what are the current situation? Globally, India currently ranks 4th in terms of installed solar power capacity, and as per Ministry of Power, total installed solar capacity is 67 gigawatt April 2030. Likely it will improve and it will touch with the current place of 300 gigawatt by 2030. What are the policies of the government to improve the solar energy? National Solar Mission, grid connected solar rooftop program under the Kusum or under solar rooftop program, developments of solar parks and ultra mega solar power projects, production linked incentive scheme for the solar power plant, and PM Kusum solar transfiguration of India Srishti, and renewable purchase obligations. International Solar Alliance and its One Sun, One World, One Grid and Green Grid initiatives. What are the constraints to generate the solar energy? Shortfall in domestic manufacturing capacities coupled with high taxes on imported cells and modules, inconsistencies in solar policies for rooftop solar and open access, etc. Low tariffs enforced by the states leads to compromise in the quality of solar panels, and low private sector participation under the public-private partnership, and financing, storage, transmission issues in the establishing solar rooftops, and other issues such as unsigned power supply agreements by distribution companies, not metering limits on rooftop solar capacity, conflicts with local communities, and biodiversity protection. What are the solutions? Two uniform policies to apply nationally for rooftop solar, net metering, banking facilities, etc. Enhance access to affordable finance for battery energy storage systems, grid integration, purchase of solar photovoltaic modules. Embrace circular economy for photovoltaic waste to improve domestic manufacturing. Reduce duties on solar cell. Stricter enforcement of the renewable purchase obligation by states. And International Solar Alliance. The Prime Minister recently pledged to achieve the 300 gigawatt by 2030. Under this, the two financial components which are related to these solar projects. The Solar Payment Guarantee Fund enable investments in geographies that do not receive investments. Solar Insurance Fund will reduce the burden of insurance premium for solar developers in pre-revenue phase of projects. International Solar Alliance, a joint effort by India and France to mobilize efforts against climate change through the deployment of solar energy solutions, and conceptualized on the sidelines of the 21st Conference of Parties during Paris Agreement to the UPSC. International Solar Alliance Assembly is the apex decision-making body. It is guided by its towards 1000 gigawatt or $1,000 billion or $1 trillion economy and 1000 gigawatt of solar energy capacity generation. These are the aim to achieve the 1000 tag of the International Solar Alliance, and priority areas: the analytics and advocacy, capacity building, programmatic support and readiness and enabling activities, and it is open to all member states of the United Nations. And what are the challenges? Funding constraints, not fixed mechanism for mobilization of the funds, technology transfer and intellectual property rights. Developing countries often face barriers to accessing advanced solar technologies due to patent restrictions and high cost. Still in evolving stage as a global organization, and geopolitical vulnerabilities with China dominating the solar supply chain, limited membership, and India is importing heavy solar panel from China, and it will become a heavy losses due to lack of import substitution of the solar panel. And what are the solutions? To ensure sustainable finance through innovative mechanisms like green bonds, promoting international cooperation with other initiatives such as United Nations Sustainable Energy for All and International Renewable Energy Agency, and facilitate technology transfer from developed to developing nations, and encouraging members to ratify its framework. And it will be crucial to import substitution and improve the Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant India in the solar panel. Next is wind energy. Targets of wind energy: to achieve total installed capacity of 60 gigawatt of wind energy by 2030 and 300 gigawatt by 2030. And this is the facts about the wind energy. Power potential in India: cross potential of 302 gigawatt at 100 member and 695 gigawatt at 120 meter above ground level. Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. And most of this potential exists in 7 windy states. For example, Gujarat with the highest wind energy generation, and Rajasthan, then Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh. So these two states are not coastal areas, but and Gujarat, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, as well as Andhra Pradesh. These are the coastal areas, coastal states, and the current situation of installed capacity of wind energy is around 43 gigawatt, around 10.3% of the total capacity in India, and fourth rank installed wind capacity in the world. What are the policies related to wind capacity or wind energy? National Wind Solar Hybrid Policy 2018 and National Offshore Wind Energy Policies 2015, and technical support including wind resource assessment and identification of potential sites through the National Institute of Wind Energy, and waiver of interstate transmission system charges for interstate sale of wind power for projects. Concessional custom duty exemption on certain components required for manufacturing of wind electric generators, and standard bidding guidelines for tariff bid competitive bidding process for procurement of power from grid connected wind projects. And what are the constraints or what are the issues related to wind energy? High concentration, operational and maintenance expenditure, especially in offshore wind projects. Challenges in maintaining competitive pricing and impact on local wildlife, such as collision, noise pollution from turbines, etc. And difficulties in land acquisition at windy sites, and variable wind, intermittent supply, and high cost of energy storage, and other challenges such as grid integration, procurement and transport wind farm components, and need of skilled workforce for maintenance. And what are the solutions to achieve wind energy in the excess? That consider wind energy for renewable purchase obligation, waiving excise duties and GST during early stages of project development, feed-in tariff or FIT policy for promoting renewable energy expansion, where the government offers a guaranteed purchasing price for electricity produced from renewable energy sources for fixed periods of time, and invest in research and development for affordable energy storage systems, and developing offshore projects to overcome land acquisition issues. So keep this in mind. And next is bioenergy in India. Under bioenergy, what is bioenergy? Bioenergy is electricity and gas that is generated from organic matter known as biomass. So simply it is defined as bioenergy, defined as the electricity and gas that is generated from organic matter. Electricity or gas generated from bio or organic matter known as biomass. And what is the potential of bioenergy? Surplus biomass availability at least at about 230 million metric tons per annum in India, covering agricultural residues, correspond to a potential of about 28 gigawatt. About 14 gigawatt additional power could be generated through biogases based cogeneration in India's sugar mill, and utilization of bioenergy in the biofuels, bioethanol, biodiesel, compressed biogas, and biohydrogen, and biopower convert renewable biomass fuels into heat and electricity. And bioproducts, plastics, lubricants, industrial chemicals, etc. These are the bioproducts and biofuels. You can remember these biofuels for upcoming prelims 2024. So first generation biofuels, edible biomass such as sugar beet, sugar cane, wheat, corn, oil crops, and second generation biofuels, that is non-edible biomass such as wood, grass, straw, waste, and third generation biofuels in terms of algal biomass such as microalgae and macroalgae, and fourth generation breakthrough pyrolysis, solar to fuel genetically modified organisms. So remember this. And what are the significance of bioenergy or biofuels? To promote green energy transition in the country, reduce air pollution and improve quality of life, reduce garbage dumped in landfills and cost of landfill disposal, reduces over-reliance of fossil fuels, contribute to achieve UN-mandated sustainable development goals such as zero hunger, clean water and sanitation. And what are the policies to improve the biofuels? National Policy on Biofuels 2018, Pradhan Mantri जीवन that is जैव ईंधन वातावरण अनुकूल फसल अवशेष निवारण योजना 2019 and गोबर galvanizing organic bio agro resources गोवर्धन scheme 2018 sustainable alternative towards affordable transportation SATAT scheme and Directorate General of Foreign Trade amended biofuels export policy allowing export of biofuels from special economic zones and export oriented units for both fuel and non-fuel purposes without any restrictions if biofuel is produced using imported feedstock. And what are the constraints? The technological barriers. For example, in gasification, variations in power delivered depend on the quality of biomass, and competition, energy pricing policies and subsidies in India favor fossil fuel based energy sources, food versus fuel. Agricultural land may be diverted to production of bioenergy crops, financial barriers, high initial cost of gasifier, engine generator, etc. Shortage of quality raw material, that high moisture content in biomass causes biological degradation, mold formation and losses, and biodiversity loss during cultivation. What are the solutions? Rigorous research and development aimed at cost reduction, improved reliability, and revised tariff structures through promotion of feed-in tariffs, focus on cultivation and production of algal biofuels, market development by creating special funds for projects demonstrating new technologies and by promoting collaboration between industry and academia, and instituting measures to ensure sustainable exploitation and development of bioenergy resources. So keep this in mind. And next is National Bioenergy Program. Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has notified that National Bioenergy Program will continue from financial year 21-22 to 25-26 for the first phase. A National Bioenergy Program will comprise the three sub-schemes such as Waste to Energy Program, Biomass Program, and Biogas. So remember these three schemes. And under sub-schemes, Waste to Energy Program, what is the objective? To support the setting up of waste to energy projects for generation of biomass, bio-CNG power plants, and Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency will be the implementing agency. And biomass program for a scheme to support manufacturing of briquette and pellets and promotion of not remember these things, okay, and under biomass programs to support setting up of biomass briquette or pellet manufacturing plants. IRDA IREDA shall be the implementing agency like waste to energy program also. And biogas program, the program implementing agency of state or union territory or biogas development and training centers. IRDA or NABARD or RBI approved financial institutions may also implement in it consultation with PIAs, that is program implementing agency. So remember this. Next is ethanol blending. What is ethanol blending fuel? A blended motor fuel containing ethyl alcohol that is at least 99% pure, derived from agricultural products and blended exclusively with geo or gasoline, considered to be a renewable fuel. So this is the ethanol blended fuel that is made up of agricultural products and blended exclusively with the gasoline. And what are the benefits? Use of ethanol, a blend of 20% ethanol and 80% petrol leads to an estimated reduction of carbon monoxide emissions by about 50% of two-wheelers and about 30% in four-wheelers compared to need petrol, means E0, ethanol 0. What are the targets? 10% ethanol blending in petrol by 2022 and 20% ethanol blending in petrol 2025. So remember this. And what are the current situation? India has achieved 10% ethanol blending target in 2022 and ethanol 20 fuel launched 2 years ahead of target and will be rolled out across country in a phased manner. Next is the schemes or policies to improve the ethanol blending petrol or ethanol fuels. Ethanol blending petrol program, wherein oil marketing companies sell petrol blended with ethanol. PMG1, Pradhan Mantri जैव ईंधन वातावरण अनुकूल फसल अवशेष निर्वहन योजना for setting up of second generation biorefineries and reduced goods and services on ethanol meant for ethanol blended with petrol program from 18% to 5%. So remember this. Earlier the GST on goods and GST on ethanol was 18% and now it has 5%. Use of automotive fuel ethanol 12 and ethanol 15 notified. Flexi fuel engine and components included under production linked incentive schemes. Remember this. What are the challenges or issues for the production of ethanol blending petrol? Impact on food and water security due to high demand of food grains and sugarcane. Inconsistent availability of sufficient feedstock and higher prices of ethanol in India due to the fixed price of raw materials. A lack of ethanol production facilities and delay in environmental clearance. Limited private investment in the sector. Transportation, storage and usage side. Non-uniform availability of ethanol across states for blending. And increased implementation costs related to additional storage tanks, ethanol complaint dispensing units, calibration of nozzles, and ethanol blended fuel require modification of vehicles, raising their costs. What are the solutions? To ensure uniform availability of ethanol blends across India by incentivizing development of advanced generation biofuels, and it will be the second generation and about third generation. augmenting infrastructure of oil marketing companies, that is ethanol storage, handling, blending and dispensing infrastructure. Focus on sustainability of supplies by improving plant biomass, overcoming interstate movement issues, and provide tax incentives to absorb the R&D cost on ethanol 20 compatible design. And next is methanol blending, and that is uh, SB Gangadhar powered by methanol blended diesel run up to India Energy Week 2023. And what is methanol? Methanol, also known as wood alcohol, is a low carbon hydrogen carrier fuel produced from high ash coal, agricultural residue, CO2 from thermal power plants, and natural gas. Methanol has properties similar to ethanol. It is used in various products including plastics, paints, cosmetics. And what are the significance of methanol? Around 15% methanol in gasoline can result in at least 15% reduction in import of gasoline or crude oil, and it can bring down the greenhouse gas emissions by 20% in terms of particulate matter, nitrogen oxide and sulfur oxide. Slightly lower in energy content, cost to convert vessels to run on methanol is significantly less than other alternative fuel conversions, and methanol creates close to 5 million jobs. And what are the initiatives or policies by India for methanol based economy? Niti Aayog's roadmap for methanol economy. Bureau of Indian Standard has notified 20% dimethyl ether, a derivative of methanol in liquefied petroleum gas. Notification for M15, M85, M100 blends. And in 2018, Assam Petrochemicals launched Asia's first container-based methanol cooking fuel program. BHEL, Thermax and IIT Delhi to set up coal to methanol plants in the country. So remember these initiatives. Next is hydrogen energy in India. What is hydrogen fuel? A clean burning fuel with water as its byproduct. Also, it is an energy carrier that can be used to store, move and deliver energy produced from one sources to the other. And what are the categorization of hydrogen based on production method? So pause the video and read this flowchart. Okay, such as what is gray hydrogen, blue hydrogen and green hydrogen. That gray hydrogen making from natural gas, and black hydrogen from source of coal. Blue hydrogen source is natural gas, green hydrogen source is renewable energy, pink hydrogen source is nuclear energy, and turquoise hydrogen source is natural gas, and yellow hydrogen is solar energy. So remember these types of hydrogen or categories of hydrogen, and targets of hydrogen fuel production of 5 million tons of green hydrogen by 2030. What are the advantages over the conventional fuel of green hydrogen? High calorific value, has almost 2.5 times the energy per ton compared as to natural gas. Abundance in environment, alternative to coke and coal in steel production, can be used in fuel cells in electric vehicles, and refueling can be done at fast rate. So what are the constraints regarding hydrogen? High cost and high capital cost of the electrolysis, electrolyzer technology and green hydrogen in India because of electrolyzer is very high cost, difficult difficult to store and transport due to its high flammable nature. Most of hydrogen is presently being produced from fossil fuels, leading to high emissions. Nascent stage technology discourages many private players from actively participating in its development. What are the policies to improve the green hydrogen? National Hydrogen Mission, National Hydrogen Energy Roadmap. In 2020, Delhi became the first city in India to operate buses with hydrogen enriched CNG. Ministry of New and Renewable Energy to launch a hydrogen fuel cell based bus projects in Leh National Hydrogen Petrol Hydrogen Valley platform to facilitate a clean energy transition by promoting the emergence of integrated hydrogen projects along the value chain and raise awareness among policy makers. So keep this in mind. What are the solutions to improve the green hydrogen? Creation of safe and cost effective infrastructure for hydrogen storage and transportation, promotion of green hydrogen over other production methods such as grey hydrogen as well as blue hydrogen, which are the sources of natural gas as well as coal. Introduce major research and development programs linking hydrogen fuel with applications to enhance market acceptance. So remember this. A national green hydrogen mission. Says the cabinet has approved the national green hydrogen mission. So remember some points from here to enrich the green hydrogen mission. Okay, like the national green hydrogen mission outcomes: 5 million metric ton of green hydrogen by 2030, 6 lakh new green jobs, 50 million metric ton of carbon abatement cumulatively, and 60 to 100 gigawatt electrolyzer installations, 150 gigawatt renewable energy for green hydrogen production, over 8 lakh crore investments. Okay, so you can remember this. And mission intended benefits. What are the benefits? Leading producer, making India a leading producer and suppliers of green hydrogen in the world. And export, creation of export opportunities for green hydrogen and its derivatives. And import dependence, reduction in dependence on imported fossil fuels and feedback, indigenization, development of indigenous manufacturing capabilities or self-reliant or Atmanirbhar Bharat mission on green hydrogen, and improve employment generation and business opportunities for industry, creating opportunities for employment and economic development. So keep this in mind. Next is ocean thermal energy. The data about national ocean thermal energy. Ocean thermal energy conversion has a theoretical potential of 1,80,000 megawatt in India, subject to suitable technological evolution. And ocean thermal energy conversion plant will power the low temperature thermal desalination based desalination plant for conversion of seawater into potable water with capacity of 1 lakh liter of potable water per day. Ocean thermal energy conversion. What is this? It is a process for producing energy by harnessing the temperature differences or thermal gradients between ocean surface water and deep ocean water. So remember this fact. Ocean thermal energy conversion harnessing the temperature differences between ocean surface water and deep ocean waters. Ocean thermal energy conversion systems use a temperature difference of at least 20 degrees Celsius. Types of OTEC methods include closed cycle method and open cycle method. What are the advantages of OTEC? India is geographically well placed. Development of OTEC facilities and generates a constant clean source of electricity, unlike intermittent electricity from renewable sources like wind and solar. Potential to generate potable water, hydrogen and ammonia, cold and nutrient-rich water from the OTEC process can benefit commercial products such as air conditioning, aquaculture, seawater cooled greenhouses, enabled food production. And what are the challenges associated with OTEC? High upfront capital cost and economical only at very large scales. Most OTEC technologies are currently at pre-research and development, demonstration stage, or the initial stage of commercialization. And environmental concerns, potential impact on marine organisms and ecosystem due to the discharge of cooler, dense and nutrient-rich water, increased biofouling that is unwanted accumulation of algae, microorganisms, plants, etc. What are the solutions? Accelerate financial and policy support for the deployment of OTEC, invest in R&D in and promote international collaborations in the field of ocean energy, and develop more demonstration projects for OTEC at feasible sites to carefully assess environmental impact before large-scale development. So remember this. And what are the other forms of ocean-based energy like wave energy, current energy and tidal energy? Wave energy means generated by the movement of a device either floating on the surface of the ocean or moved to ocean floor by the force generated by ocean water. And current energy captures kinetic energy from the ocean currents with submerged turbines, harnesses potential energy from difference in water level from low tide and high tide. So keep this in mind. And next is geothermal energy. What is the geothermal energy? An energy source that is stored in the form of heat beneath Earth's surface. So this is the geo. Geo means Earth and thermal means temperature. So that is stored in form of heat beneath Earth's surface. Remember this. Magma in inner layer of Earth heats nearby rocks and underground aquifers. As a result, hot water is released through geysers, hot springs, steam vents, underwater hydrothermal vents, and mud pots. And hot water steam can be piped up through underground wells and used to generate electricity in a power plant. Potential and distribution of geothermal energy. Total estimated geothermal power potential about 10 gigawatt, and 300 geothermal hot springs exist in India. Remember this fact, 300 geothermal hot springs. According to Geological Survey of India, Puga and Chumathang in eastern Ladakh are the most promising geothermal sites. What are the benefits of geothermal energy? Carbon free, renewable in nature, and provides a continuous uninterrupted supply. What are the challenges or issues? Location specific energy because of the high mountain area in Ladakh, which are very difficulties to extraction or to generate the geothermal energy associated with other emissions like sulfur dioxide and hydrogen sulfide, causes many tremors in area of operation, high initial cost of plants distribution. And what are the solutions? Equate geological mapping of potential energy, incentives for research and development for developing low cost and clean extraction technology, and promoting infrastructure construction for distribution of powers, and offer the public-private partnership to extraction of geothermal energy from difficult terrains. Electric Next is electric vehicles policy. Parliament Committee on Estimates presented a report on evaluation of electric vehicle policy, suggesting formulation of a comprehensive national policy on electric vehicles. An electric vehicles type of vehicle that uses one or more electric motors for propulsion instead of an internal combustion engine. A need of a national electric vehicle policy in India to improve air quality of cities by reducing vehicular pollution arising from the increasing stock of private vehicles, especially internal combustion engines, fulfilling rising demand of electric vehicle in India, achieve target of electric vehicle sales penetration of 30% of private cars, 70% of commercial cars, 40% of buses, and 80% of 2 and 3 wheelers by 2030. And types of electric vehicles: battery electric vehicles that run entirely on battery powered electric driver motor, that is e-rickshaw. Plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, also known as series hybrids. They also have both engine and a motor. The battery can be charged externally. And hybrid electric vehicles, that also known as the series hybrid or parallel hybrid. Hybrid electric vehicles have both engine as well as electric motor. And fuel cell electric vehicles, also known as zero emission vehicles, means they are eco-friendly and they employ fuel cell technology to generate the electricity. What are the number of electric vehicles in India? Fifth largest automobile market in the world. Remember this. As per Vahan portal, electric vehicle sales around more than 4 lakh units in 2021-22. And what are the challenges of electric vehicles and electric vehicle industry in India? Inadequate charging infrastructure, deterrents for consumers like high cost of electric vehicles, higher accidents, satisfactory resale value, scarcity of charging infrastructure, unreliable electricity, scarce battery technology, and limited manufacturing capabilities of domestic industry. And the battery availability is of rare earth metal and raw material is very scarcity. Need for scrapping policy. Electric vehicles contain high voltage components that are harmful to the environment. Shortage of skilled manpower for servicing and repair of electric vehicles. Suggestions for electric vehicles and electric vehicle industry as per the report: reducing upfront costs and promotion of other technologies along with electric vehicles such as flex fuel vehicles, hydrogen ICE, hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, and expediting extraction of lithium, building trust among consumers through formulating safety standards, and strategy for reuse or disposal of electric vehicle batteries, apprenticeships and traineeships to frame new courses for specialization in electric vehicles, and solar charge station, setting up of solar charge station, virtual power plants. Yes, and this is the theme Second, subsidy for electric vehicle at only 52% of the targets. So remember this aim to related to electric vehicles. It is important for upcoming prelims 2024. So here pause the video and read the theme 2 features. Okay, and next is battery energy storage under the theme second for electric vehicles program. Need for advanced chemistry cell energy storage in India report was released by the Niti Aayog. And what is energy storage? Storage is the capture of energy produced for the later use to reduce imbalances between energy demand and energy production. Remember this. And advantages of cell chemistry battery storage. New generation of advanced storage technology and cater not only to electric vehicles but also to consumer electronic industry, solar rooftops and electric grids. India's annual demand for advanced cell chemistry batteries would rise to between 104 gigawatt per hour and 260 GWh by 2030 across multiple sectors. So keep this in mind. And next is the types of the batteries and what are the advantages and disadvantages. So pause the video and read once. Okay, and next here is challenges in developing battery storage infrastructure. High initial cost of setting up manufacturing plants, lack of financing options, policy regulating and taxation risks, lack of appropriate technology, lack of skilled workforce and availability of raw materials such as lithium and cobalt. Remember this. And need for battery storage technology ecosystems in India. 2. Competitive advantage in the mobility, grid energy storage and consumer electronics spaces, energy security and reduced dependence on oil imports, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, meeting the electric vehicle 30 goals and benefit to overall economy. So keep this in mind. What are the solutions to improve the electric vehicles based on batteries? Incentives to manufacturers like direct fiscal incentives, tax credits, partnerships with industry leaders, and security raw material supply. Special economic zone could be improved. Investment in research and development and innovation for renew and niche battery technologies. Specific policy instruments including direct benefits in form of capital subsidies, interest subsidies, electricity duty exemptions, etc. Promoting public-private partnerships in battery manufacturing industries. So remember this. Next is vehicle scrappage. In 2017, government launched a bill. Government introduced a bill for electric vehicle scrappage policy framework. And what is the vehicle scrappage policy framework in India? Automotive Industry Standard 2016. It places requirements for the collection and dismantling centers and vehicle manufacturers to comply with the reusability, recyclability and recoverability calculations and guidelines for environmentally sound facilities for handling, processing and recycling of end-of-life vehicles 2019. Voluntary vehicle fleet modernization programs or vehicle scrappage policy 2021 and motor vehicles registration and functions of vehicle scrapping facility rules 2021. The Central Motor Vehicles Amendment Rules 23rd Amendment incorporated an upward revision of registration, fitness testing and fitness certification fee for vehicles and recognition, regulation and control of automated testing stations rules. Automated testing stations authorized by the state governments conduct vehicle fitness tests. And what are the challenges in vehicle scrappage policy in India? Poor infrastructure and inadequate scrapping facilities, financial constraints because of misgovernance between the state and center, changing vehicle every 15 years not affordable for consumers, and it will be limited monitoring of the testing certification due to the lack of a centralized database linking vehicle registration with the testing facilities, and extended producers responsibility for OEMs to handle the electric vehicles is absent. Usage of recycled materials as circular economy framework is missing. And here is initiatives to improve the electric vehicles. Scrap value for the old vehicles 4 to 6% of ex-showroom price of a new vehicles can be scrapped. Draft rules notified for state governments to offer concession on motor vehicle tax of up to 25% for non-transport vehicles, up to 15% for transport vehicles. Registration fees to be waived for purchase of new vehicle against the certificate of deposit draft notification issued. And auto OEMs have been advised to provide 5% discount on purchase of new vehicle against the certificate of deposits. And what are the disincentives? Increased fees for fitness test and issuance of fitness certificate for commercial vehicles which are more than 15 years old, and increased re-registration fees for private vehicles which are more than 15 years old, and draft notification issued for higher fees for fitness certificate, fitness test and re-registration. So keep this in mind. What are the solutions? Phased implementation. A study can be conducted for the commercial vehicles segment to scrap heavy trucks and buses that are pre-BS second vintage as the first step. Incentives to customers such as purchase discount by OEMs in exchange for the certificate of deposits, and disincentives OEMs an advanced recoverability fee based on the weight of non-recoverable materials, landfill taxes, etc. Customers an advanced recycling fee from the customers at the time of purchase, dispute resolution of electric vehicles, faster resolution and deregistration with the help of local police. 3 R's, that is recycle, reuse and reduce. OEMs should use materials that can be easily recycled and recoverable, and skill development of dismantlers to increase the scrappage policy of the vehicles. And next is flex fuel. What is flex fuel? It is the flex fuel vehicles have an internal combustion engine, but instead of regular petrol, it can run on blended fuel, petrol with ethanol or methanol. So remember this. Ethanol mix can vary between 20 to 85%. And vehicle has additional sensors and different programs of the engine control module to assess the blend of the fuel and adjust accordingly. And upgrading existing vehicles to run on high blend of ethanol fuel, however, is possible but expensive and not considered feasible. Recently, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has launched first of its kind pilot project on flexi fuel storage hybrid electric vehicles in India to increase 20% to 100% blended ethanol and electric power. Unlike electric hybrid vehicles, no bulky parts need to be added to the basic gasoline vehicle architecture and flexi-fuel vehicle and save purchases of flex fuel engine and an electric powertrain. Significance of flexi fuel vehicle, that is such as less polluting, can manage glute in sugar production, efficient burning facility, reduced import bill, additional revenue system stream for the farmers, and alternate fuel. Why is compare flexi fuel with comparing of the other fuels? That is ethanol as a fuel. Significance of ethanol, that renewable domestically produced transportation fuel has a higher octane number, and ethanol production creates jobs in rural areas. What is flexi fuel? With much and significance of flexi fuel, with much lower cost of running, they also offer better economy for consumers. What are the challenges of ethanol as a fuel? Sporadic availability of ethanol. Ethanol can also cause corrosion and damage to the engine. Remember this, can be damage to the engine. And ethanol is also not as economical as gasoline, as it does not provide the same level of fuel efficiency. And here, flexi fuel cannot damage the engine. Benefit of the environment is less as compared to battery electric vehicles or hydrogen fuel cell vehicles of the future. So remember this. And hydrogen as a fuel, diverse domestic resources, potential for near zero greenhouse gas emissions, and it is a challenges to storing hydrogen is difficult, high production cost, and biodiesel, learned burning renewable substitutes, improves fuel lubricity, and safer than petroleum diesel. Challenges: higher viscosity, lower energy content, higher nitrogen oxide emissions, lower engine speed and power. So remember this. And electricity, improve fuel economy, and challenges: public charging stations are not as ubiquitous as gas stations and designed for extended life but will wear out eventually. And natural gas significance is domestic availability, established distribution networks, relatively low cost and emissions benefits. And challenges is challenges are driving range of natural gas vehicles is generally less than that of the comparable gasoline and diesel vehicles. What are the flexi fuel vehicles challenges? Lack of direct benefit to the consumer, investment in infrastructure needed for mass adoption, adequate supply of different types of ethanol blend, and issues with ethanol supply due to drought, diversion of food crops, and less vis-a-vis environmental benefits as compared to battery electric vehicles or hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. Niti Aayog in a report mentioned that over 90% of ethanol in India came from sugarcane alone and other food crop like maize. Less mileage, it will take 1.5 times more ethanol to provide the same energy level. And what are the solution? Research and development would have been increased, incentives and low pricing for better accessibility of higher flex fuels, infrastructure development for ethanol storage, handling, blending and dispensing infrastructure, augmentation of ethanol production, technology for production of ethanol from non-food feedstocks. So remember this. So here you can pause the video and read this step by the government or policies by the government, such as target of achieving average 10% blending was achieved in June 2022. PM launched pilot project on ethanol 20 fuel. Bharat stage norms for BS6 norms electric vehicles. It was frog leaping from BS4 to BS6 norms directly. Government has included automobile and auto components of flex fuel engines into the production linked incentive schemes, and it shall be attract an additional differential excise duty of rupees 2 per liter from October 2022. So remember this. So here I will end the lecture, and keep watching. If you have a query, then put a comment section. So thank you for watching video, and have a good day.